Baldy with us on the Harbor One hotline. Happy holidays, good sir. How are you?
I'm doing great, guys. It is a happy holiday season, man. I'm in the spirit.
Yeah, and,
are you though?
Where are you?
Yeah.
Where's what is your sort of Christmas weekend look like with all these games going on?
It's a football. Yeah, I mean, I'm doing games, I'm traveling, but I mean, I'm in the film room right now, writing NFL films, getting my work done, getting ready to do some things. So I'm right where I'm supposed to be. But I have sometimes I sleep, sometimes I don't sleep. So honestly, I always make time for the fun stuff in life, like Christmas.
Hey, so now you can boast if you want to, but how much film do you actually watch per week? Like, what is like a typical? Hey, I need to do a film study these 2 days when you're not traveling.
Yeah, well, I got back from a game in Nashville last week. At midnight, so I didn't start. But I started at 5:30 on Monday morning. I went till 9 o'clock, so I got 15 hours in on Monday. Got 15 hours in on Tuesday, and
you're like a coach.
Did a fair amount yesterday.
You're like a coach, and how much? Like, how many games in 15 hours can you watch? How many? Because you're watching both sides, right?
Yeah, you watch both sides. Obviously the Eagles game was really important, so you had to study that. From Monday night, but Jacksonville, Baltimore was a good game to study. There's a lot of stuff going on in that game, so on both sides. So you study that one really hard. Sometimes you take 2 or 3 hours on a game. Sometimes you take, if you're watching, let's say, the Giants and Saints last week, you're like, okay, the Giants didn't pick up the same stunt 4 times in the first half, and Tommy DeVito was sacked 4 times on the exact same stunt. You go, I've seen enough. Like Saquon Barkley gained a yard of carry. You've seen enough. So you don't have to really spend that much time on that game. But so it depends on the game. But I do treat all 32 teams the same, and I do give all of them time. It's just that if you watch the Patriots offense, I mean, if I had paint that hadn't dried yet in this room, it'd be like watching the paint dry.
Well, I can imagine.
And I do want to get to that, but and Baldy, you might be in a weird way the leader, like the unofficial leader, even if you don't know, of the All 22 crew and people who want to try to watch the game like you. So it begs the question, for somebody who wants to be an All 22 guy like you, how should they go about watching an NFL game to get the most out of what they're seeing?
You mean if they're just watching it off television?
No, I'm talking about like for those who go in the next day on Monday and they're in there like you watching the All 22 on NFL Plus or NFL.com. Like, how do you go about watching a football game? Because a lot of people just watch the ball.
Right. No, I understand. Like I do games every week and I try to go to as many training camps as I can. And I talk to coaches and text coaches throughout the week. So I learn things all week long that I look for verification on the film. So that's part of it. And then if you do it, literally every week, every year, you start to understand what Kyle Shanahan's offense is, what Mike McDaniel does. So it's more than just going in there to watch it. Sometimes you go in there and you go, okay, Dallas just gave up 266 rushing to Buffalo. All right, Buffalo ran the exact same counter tackle trap right at him, left side, right side. All game long, they couldn't stop it. Why is that? I mean, are you going to play a dime defense against a team that can really run it with Marquise Bell and Damone Clark? Like, they got to find some alternative right there because they're just getting pounded. So it's sort of like you go in with an idea about what the issue is. Do they fix the issue? Do they adjust to it? All those kind of things. And so, like every week, it's a little bit different depending on the opponent and how the game flowed and some of the decision making that goes on. So you're kind of just trying to turn over every rock to find something unique or different or good or not so good about a game.
Now, you watch these at the NFL Films? Like, do you have like your own like makeshift position meeting room with the what I highly desire, which I can never find, the old school clicker with the the 7 buttons, and you don't even correct me if I'm wrong, Baldy. Because I'm assuming you don't even need to look at your hand when you are going back and forth and
forwarding. Let me ask you this. When you're starving, okay, and there's like mashed potatoes in front of you, do you have to look at your hand and put that fork into your mouth?
No. Potatoes. That's the word of the day today, too, Baldy. The word of the day is potatoes.
Like, I know I'm going to have like all kinds of whatever those hand problems are, that people get when they get older and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to have it where my thumb's just not going to work anymore. It's just going to fall off one day.
You would think it would get stronger, to be honest with you.
Well, it might get stronger, muscle, like it could, but like I know this. Like there's a guy that repairs the Cowboy clickers in Louisville, Texas, and I sent him 4 this off season, and I go, I need 4 for this because I know I'm going to break a few. I'm just going to go through it. They're just going to get tired of working. So I have backups to backups. I have a film room in Fort Lauderdale, one here in NFL Films in Jersey, and one out there at the NFL Network in LA. So I'm never, and I have a laptop that has every game uploaded to it. So I'm never out of the film room, no matter where I'm at.
Brian Baldinger, Odyssey NFL Insider. Of course, you see him on NFL Network and doing games everywhere here with Gresh and Fourier. Well, Baldy, you had the paint drying line about the Patriots offense. I know the interception early really caused the coaches to kind of just pucker up and not really want to run anything in that second half. So I guess we're back to first half analysis. Zappe had decent numbers in the first half. What stood out to you about that first half offensively for New England?
Well, I mean, Hunter Henry's come alive, and so the ball is getting to Hunter Henry right now. The touchdown to Zappe was a good throw, and they got him the ball. And so I would say that's kind of like the first thing. I didn't think Kansas City's defense is elite. They can beat you any style. So the corner cat blitzes, their ability to, Chris Jones can ruin anybody's offense. So that's always kind of an issue. But, in the first half, I thought, Hunter Henry, they threw to him 6 times. I think he completed all 6 passes to him. I mean, the tight end is alive. He's had a couple good weeks against Pittsburgh last week. That's probably the best part of what they did. It helps when you get the ball off the interception by Maypoo at the 8-yard line. You'd like to be able to, finish that in the end zone and go up 14-7 at that point. That would have helped. But, you kick the field goal. They're in the game all the way through the third quarter. I mean, they hung in there. They limited Mahomes. They picked him off a couple times, and Kelsey didn't kill him, and they shut the run down completely. So there was a lot of things to like about this game. But in the first half, you're asking me, just getting the ball to Henry really helped. They couldn't really run the ball very good. So Zappe had a great first half.
So, Baldy, we were looking at the second half of the game, and specifically the fourth quarter, and we were trying to figure out, because Bill was getting a lot of criticism for not playing fast, no sense of urgency. Even Ezekiel Elliott kind of jumped in and was like, I wish we could have gone faster, but, what do I know, basically. Do you think that was just out of fear for not being able to protect anything or achieve anything, and thus taking like the more conservative route, or because of injuries? Like, what do you think Bill's mindset was when you watched the film? What did you see?
I saw after the interception to start the third quarter, I just saw 1 3-and-out after another. It's hard to play with tempo if you can't get a first down. They literally went, 4 straight possessions. They weren't getting the first down, where you can kind of like start to get into a rhythm and play hurry up. But they're not really good at that anyways. So, some teams, that's their offense, is they just play an up-tempo offense. They can go no huddle and all that. It's not really what he has done. They have done that, obviously with Brady, after a first down that gets the line, run the next play before they can substitute. But if you're not getting first downs, like, you're not gaining any advantage. In fact, you're just hurting your defense if you're running like literally drives that are taking, 10 seconds or 30 seconds or whatever it is, if you're just 3-and-out. And so that's the danger if you're playing up tempo and you're not staying on the field.
So I remember, so Bill O'Brien spoke the other day, and Gresh, correct me if I'm wrong, he basically said it was like, after the interception, it was like an omen.
Yep.
Of after Bailey Zappe threw that interception, was just almost unexplainable. And then he just decided, like, which I read into, like, okay, we can't take any chances. Like, it's happened. We see it. He made a dumb mistake. It's probably going to get worse. Therefore, let's just be as simple as possible.
Well, sometimes you gotta have a little bit of faith in your players. Like, you are playing the Kansas City Chiefs with Mahomes on the other side. You got to consider it. Look, the interception, was it Willie Gay? He was the one that had the pick. I don't really understand exactly. It's play action. You're just out there. I don't know what he was throwing at. I mean, he's outside the pocket, and I don't know, like there's two underneath defenders. I don't know where he was trying to go with the ball. But you can't, like, you just hope that you can just go back out there and flush it and get on with it. I mean, you're not going to be able to win the game scoring 17 points against Kansas City. And so, or 10, whatever they had on the board at the time, like, you're going to have to open it up and stay that. But if that's what you think about your quarterback, maybe that's the indictment that everybody just needs to hear.
Baldy, I know a lot of folks around here, because of Miami, were paying attention when the Dolphins way back, it feels like almost a year ago, for God's sakes, hung 70 on the Broncos defense. Now they're playing respectable football. They've figured a lot of things out. What version of the Broncos defense will the Patriots see on Saturday night?
Well, last week against Detroit, I mean, they had it handed to them for the first time since then. They had played great defense prior to that for probably 6 or 8 straight weeks. It was whenever they beat Kansas City the first time. They took the ball, and they had taken the ball away in every game. And it had really, it was just situational football. They didn't have to be so aggressive offensively. Defense was taken away. They were forcing fumbles, interceptions. Going into last week, they led the league in takeaways with 24. And it happened like 6 straight weeks in a row. And then last week, it didn't happen at all. And Detroit had a really good game plan. The tight end looks like the next Travis Kelce, and they kind of had their way with everything they wanted to do. And they got snowballed on, and it just rolled downhill on them. And then offensively, Denver's a little challenged offensively. Like, they'd like to just run it. They have the same offensive line every single week. They like to run it if they don't fall too far behind, and then just kind of take their shots when they're available. But last week they fumbled on the goal line. You saw the blow up on the sideline with Peyton and Russell Wilson. I don't know if that's what it was about, but whatever. They just couldn't keep the game close to play their style. They have a particular style that when they play it, they were tough to beat for a good stretch. And it slipped away from them against Houston 3 weeks ago. They had a chance to win that game. They couldn't finish it. And then, last week, it's just, for the first time, really, it fell apart. But I don't believe last week is who they are. I think that was an anomaly last week. I think they're a lot better football team than that.
Yeah, so with this week with the Patriots, we're talking to Brian Baldinger for the NFL Network on the Harbor One Hotline. More of the same with the Patriots, right? I'm assuming with all that information you talk about with the Denver Broncos, with how beneficial those turnovers were for them that led to their season being turned around, I would assume that ball security would be the number one priority for Bill this week.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I think that's all. It's probably priority number one every week. But this team feeds off it, and when they start to get it, it seems like it's just everybody just plays looser, freer. Everybody's having more fun on that team. I mean, the whole team feeds off it, whether it's Jaquan McMillan or, pick a guy, Alex Singleton. I mean, some of these guys have gotten a lot of takeaways from them. Justin Simmons, like, they feed off of it. And I think that they're completely different. And like last week, they didn't come close to creating one. And it just, it seemed like they weren't the same team. So, yes, I would say throw them the interception that Zappe threw last week to Willie Gay there to start the third quarter. Like, if they do that to Denver, I don't think they'll win the game.
Baldy, thanks a bunch, friend. We appreciate it. Enjoy the heck out of the holiday, and we will talk to you after the first of the year. Almost putting the season to bed more than anything else. Thank you, man. You've been awesome this year. We appreciate you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. All the best.
There we go.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, same to you. Our guy, Brian Baldinger, Odyssey NFL Insider. Make sure to follow the best football show with Baldy on the Odyssey app or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
I literally just thought of something.
And that is, I jumped the gun.
No.
I should have
I think
peeked
I
at you.
played with his. I think I played my rookie year with his brother, Rich Baldinger.
Really?
Like, he has yeah. And I remember the first time I saw Baldinger, I was like, wow. And his brother was really nice. I didn't want to mention anything because I'm not sure if he's here, if he's not, or what's going on with him.
You didn't do a Google. You didn't do a deep dive Google on the Baldinger brothers.
I just hit me all of a sudden because his brother, his last year, I think it was a tackle, And real nice guy, but just, he was an old timer, right? Because Baldy got in the league in 82. And this was this guy's, here it is. Yeah, born his younger brother, yeah. Gary, okay.
Chiefs and Wake Forest.
Wow. Am I right, though? That is his brother, right?
So,
it's not
Rich played with the Giants, the Chiefs, and then there was, 1 year there with the Patriots or something like that.
Yeah, and Brian, and his older brother, Brian. Okay. I knew, I can't believe all this time.
They're one of the first families of the NFL.
Yeah.
You got Manning, Baldinger, everybody goes to Watt, Bosa, the Matthews family. They're in there. The problem is they were all O-linemen.